Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to do an overview on the concept on the Kunwu knives Padre Lefty. So, the first thing I want to say is this knife has surprised me. This knife has grown on me a lot. I first got this knife a few days ago, and I liked it. If you watch the video, I liked it a lot. I disassembled it. I did tune the D10 a little bit to get a little more of a snap on it. But it was fine out of the box. I just prefer a little bit snappier. I did try skiffs, but they didn't really take for me. I think I've seen some other people have swapped them and have had no issue, but didn't work for me. And that's fine. Their multi-row bearings are excellent. There's no play of any kind on here, and I get great action on it. So no issue there. But I've carried it pretty much every day since then, and it has really grown on me. I've fallen in love with it. I do still wish they would come out with a mini, and I think I would ultimately prefer that just because of the handle size, and we'll get into that. But that's pretty much a preference. Otherwise, it's just, man, it's so good. It's well done. $300 for a beautifully done titanium frame lock with Mokutai accents here, or Timascus accents, and Vanex super clean blade. I think that's extremely affordable. I'm not positive if the Lefty's the same price, but I'm sure it's similar. I'm sure they're not charging more for a Lefty, but I could be wrong. So around $300 for this is excellent. The quality is there. And it's just nice to see a company like this, you know, supporting lefties and using Vanex and just doing cool stuff. You know what I mean? I do have a link to Kunwu knives down below if you want to use that. It does help the channel out, but that's completely your call. This was sent to me for review, so keep that in mind. I did not pay for this, so if that changes your perspective, I just want you to know that, of course. And one cool thing I wanted to point out on this is the clip is reversible. So I didn't actually realize that. Somebody asked me, and I was like, nah, it doesn't make sense. They have a lefty and a righty. It's a milled clip. It's gonna have a cutout under there or something. But no, I took it off and swapped it over. It works. You just have to swap the barrels over, as this one has a barrel. You just push that out and then put it in here and then flip it, and it works. So if for some reason you're a lefty and you just prefer a right-handed knife but want to carry lefty, you can do that, or vice versa, which is pretty cool. It has a very cool front flipper design. At first I didn't love it, but once I learned to ride the top of it, I have absolutely fallen in love with it. It just pops out of there, feels great, and it's kind of refreshing as a lefty to have a clip to hang on to. You know, it lets me kind of be a little bit more adventurous with the front flipper where, you know, for example, this doesn't really have a front flipper, but with a right-hand knife, if I were to go front flipping, I don't have a clip. I have to grab the frame, or, you know, I can't really, like, try stuff. I have to grip as hard as I can and just flip it, right? But being that this is a lefty knife, this does come in righty, of course, I can grip this clip, so I am locked in. So I can, you know, I can kind of just try different things. I can hang it on a different angle. I can let go with one finger. I can just, I don't know, it's just a little bit more versatile for me on the deployment, which I really do like. Thumb flick is excellent on this. I haven't had an issue with binding up the, again, because of the clip, I guess. I just haven't locked it up with the frame lock before. I'm not sure if the frame lock is an issue. Yes, so if you put pressure on that, it doesn't work. But if I go down, I'm sure. Yeah, no, you got to stay off that. So the lefty version, right-handed, not going to be the greatest, but you can do it for sure. I don't know why you would, because if you're right-handed, you can just get a righty. I do believe they make a satin version, and I would much prefer that. A sort of satiny finish on here, or bead blast on here, satin blade. I'd be way happier with that versus this sort of all stonewash, acid wash one. It's just not my style, but I'm not going to complain. They sent it to me, of course, but excellent. The ergonomics, this is where it's very comfortable, but what happens is when I'm choked up like this, there's just so much knife sticking out, it almost baffles me. Like, the knife isn't even that big. Like, here's the growler, 3.3-inch blade on the growler. And, I mean, it's not that much bigger. It's clearly got a bigger blade. I mean, it's probably 3.5 inches, 3.7 inches maybe. But the handle doesn't look astronomically larger, right? And on this, if I choke up, I have a little bit maybe sticking out right there. You know, you can see here, but it's not past my palm or anything. And that's fully choked up. You know, if I just do this, it's not showing at all, right? But on this knife, it's like I have a whole knife sticking out of the back of my hand. I just, it's almost like weird. It's like I don't know, it's like a mind fuck for me. I don't get it. If I choke back here, yeah, it's kind of comfortable, but I'm kind of squeezing here, and I obviously want to hold it like this. And this is super comfortable. It's very comfortable to use, to hold, to cut, all those things. But I just don't like having that much handle sticking out. And that's why I say I would personally prefer a mini, but that's going to be preference, of course, right? Friday night, gas station grip. You got plenty of banana handle here to do whatever you need to do. You should be good. I wouldn't mess with it, but hey, you know how it goes. We have a nice hole for deployment with a little bit of a fuller there. And then again, we have this nice front flipper. I do wish it was jimped like over the top one too, so if I missed, it would be fine, but it does work really well. And the hole is really good. After I tuned the detent, it has just become an absolute home run on that deployment. And I don't know if you can hear it, but it has one of the best acoustics on deployment. Just cracks when it deploys. Thumb flick, just fires. It's really nice. It doesn't quite guillotine shut the way it did out of the box, but it's stupid smooth, and I have no complaint on the action. That's wonderful. But, you know, you add a little lock bar pressure, that's what's going to happen. But it's super smooth in here, no issue. Detent track might be wearing still just a little bit, but I mean, it's really nice. It's really well done. Yeah, I had to tune it, but I don't think it's a big deal. Dead nut centered. I do that to a lot of knives, and it's mostly me just getting it to my perfect preference, you know, versus there actually being an issue, if that makes sense. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to cover. I mean, I'm just really happy with it. It's super tall blade. So again, much like our growler design, you have a tall blade. It just comes down to a really nice, thin, slicey edge that's going to be super nice to work with. And you have a almost spear-like tip, right? It's like a centered tip, so it's not like a clip point where it's too high. You can get down and use that tip. It comes down to a point so you can really get to the tip without having to worry about the belly interfering, where, you know, like on the growler here, you do have to worry about that a little bit, because you get to the tip, you have all belly, right? That's the point of this design, is all belly, but you can get to the tip, but this is going to make more sense in that scenario, right? But you are going to have a little bit of a daintier tip here, right? But nice, tall, flat grind, that Vanex. I mean, it's Kunwu. This thing is like stupid sharp. Be careful sharp. Lock bar, wonderful. Even adding that pressure, it's not too stiff or anything. It feels great, gets right out of the way. Do I have any issue disengaging it? No, I can get in there, boom. One thing, this is one thing I wanted to point out. Be careful. Much like this has been compared to the Evo. Watch my other video. I don't really want to talk about it, but I had to mention it for a second, because it's much like the Evo and the Chavez 229. When you disengage this, if you have the pivot loose enough, this thing will come down on you. And you need to be careful, because that corner right there will do damage to your nail. It bruised the inside of my nail here pretty quickly. So what I learned is, well, first, when I added a little bit of lock bar pressure, it did kind of tighten it up a little. So it doesn't just drop down unless if I fully push this out of the way, it will. But, you know, you just need to be careful. I try to go on a little bit of an angle. I just let it fall to there, and then I shake it down. You know, if it hits me or something here, it's not the end of the world because it's not falling from boom, right? It's just like a little tap here or whatever. But that's kind of how I use it now. I just go like this and then shake it down. But you got to pay attention. You know, mindlessly do this, and, you know, you might get a bruise or a cut or something like that. So just be careful. A lot of people will want to do it this way where they just pop it over the top and do that. I don't think there was a detent ramp, but it doesn't need it. I mean, here's the detent right here. Is definitely not a ramp, but look at that. Locked up, hitting the detent ball. So right there, you're breaking through. So, I mean, unless you're being weird and you disengage it like that, you can get stuck on the detent, but if you push that lock bar at all, it passes right through. Excellently done by Kunwu on that. Just overall, it's a banger, guys. It really is. It's just a large knife. You know, that's the way to put it. There's knives that just feel bigger. Like this right here is probably the same blade length. Yeah, same. This might even be a little longer, but this feels like a small knife. Not a small knife, but a smaller knife, right? It feels, you know, I can choke up on this. Would I have a little bit hanging out? Maybe. And somehow it has a little bit more blade length. But this one I choke up, geez, right? Now, of course, this doesn't have a choil, so I'd have to be like up here, I guess. But still, it just feels like a large knife. So think, you know, Microtech Stitch or, you know, CKF Evo 3.0. Think like that. That's what it feels like, large and in charge. But it's excellent. It really is. I'm thoroughly impressed. And like I said, it grew on me a lot. Because at first I was a little, you know, the size and, I don't know, having to tune it. It just took me a second to let that settle in on me and really enjoy it. And now I think it's a really good knife. And I think if you're out there looking for something unique, you want Van X, you want, you know, a heavy hitter, a big knife, but with a fantastic blade and cutting edge and everything, you know, well done. I mean, it really is wonderful. So that is the Kunwu Knives Padre in Lefty. Thank you to Kunwu for sending it my way, and thank you to you guys for checking this out. Also, the texture on here is really good. I do like the heavy stonewash on here because it knocks that down a lot, which is good. Because I've had it, I've had one of their pulsars with the just bead blast, and it's very aggressive. So this is nice that it's a little knocked down. But I would want the satin blade. So yeah, love you guys. Hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.